Greetings, chemistry students. What you're going to do today is learn how to name binary ionic compounds. Now, the word binary simply means two, which basically means that you've got two elements, an anion and a cation, and because they are oppositely charged, they come together. And so these are going to be formulas that are made up of just these two ions. So there are two rules here that you need to follow, and those are right here on your page in your packet. So the cation, remember, is the positive ion. That's always named first, and all you do is you use the name of the element, and then you name the anion. So remember that the anion is a nonmetal. This is a nonmetal atom that has gained electrons in order to achieve a full shell, and therefore it has a negative charge. You just have to remember to change the name of the anion by adding IDE at the end. And here I give you a little example. So for instance, a compound with the formula NaCl is called sodium chloride because Na is sodium, that's the cation, it's always first, and then Cl is your anion, and that's chlorine, except you have to remember to change the INE to IDE, and so the name for NaCl is sodium chloride. The name for K2O is simply potassium oxide, where you name your cation, that's on the left, that's potassium, and then you name your anion, which is oxygen, but remember you have to add IDE at the end, so that's going to be potassium oxide. Now I want you to notice something. Even though you have a 2 here that is right next to your potassium, you're not adding any kind of prefix that indicates that you have 2. And the reason why is because you have to balance the charges in order to find out the formula for an ionic compound. And we're going to do that in the next video. So even if there's a 2 or a 3 or whatever number what of a subscript might be there, you're not going to have to do anything. In an ionic compound, all that you do is name the cation, name the anion. Don't make it too hard. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of these examples. So for instance, here we have Na3N. What this means is that we have 3 sodium atoms for every nitrogen atom in the ionic crystal. So, in order to name this compound, the first thing that you do, whoa, that's really big. The first thing that we're going to do is name the cation. So, just like up at the top, the name of Na is sodium. So, we're just going to type in sodium. And now we have to name our anion, which is nitrogen. But remember that we need to change the ending of nitrogen to IDE. So I'm just going to take off the last 3 letters here, last 4 letters, excuse me. And I'm going to change that to IDE, nitride. And guys, this is like knowing how many letters and things, that I've got to delete in order to put the IDE at the end. Like that, I've been doing this a long time. So that just kind of comes like naturally after you read so much chemistry. So, if you were to do something like nitrogenide, I wouldn't really care because this is your first time, so just do your best, just as long as you remember that you have to add IDE at the end of your anion. I will be really happy with that. Okay, now let's take a look at our next one. Here we have Li2O. So my little subscript of 2 right here, this means that we have 2 lithium ions for every oxygen ion in the crystal. So it's kind of like giving you a ratio, right? Like 2 lithiums for every oxygen. So in order to name this one then, I'm just going to name my cation, which is the one on the left. That's lithium. And then I name my anion. And if you recall up here at the top, we used oxide already. And so since oxygen is my anion here, I'm just going to follow that. That's going to be oxide. But you know, if you trip up and you say oxygenide, fine by me. As long as you show me that you remembered that you had to add IDE at the end, then I'm happy with that. All right, our next one here is BAF2. Now, this one's a little bit different because you only have one barium, that's Ba, for every two anions of fluorine. Again, you don't have to indicate anything for that little subscript of 2, but just name your cation. Your cation is barium. And your anion, it's not fluorine, it would be, say it with me, fluoride. Yes, barium fluoride. Very, very good. All right, so what I want you to do then is to continue on this page. You're supposed to do this page in class, and then you have a homework sheet where you're practicing naming these on your own. So when you're done, check the key. Good luck and have fun doing it. And I'll talk to you again soon.